is what factors do you think have caused you to if you struggle to open up if you don't, well, yeah. What factors have caused the fact that you think you're unable to open up?
Yeah. Just as I said before, it's just like, I think it's just general African training. I feel like the way I've been brought up is just like, it's not a case of fear people, but it's like, and I see it. I can't like, as I've grown up, I see it now. I'm like, not everybody's actually has good intentions for you. So if you're going around telling everybody your feelings and your emotions, not everybody's gonna want to help you, unfortunately. And not everybody, like has been mentioned at the beginning, is gonna keep that to themselves. So to me, it's like that has like came to, and I'm like, now I'm like, if I'm speaking to somebody, I'm like, is that person going to say something to somebody else? And if they are going to say something to somebody else, like Becca mentioned, am I ready to go public with this? Like, am I ready? So that's generally just me. It's
Are you
African
basing
training.
that on what's happened for, like, on a past experience which has made you?
It's something that I think it's something my parents have always said, always said, but like with past experiences now as I've grown up, it's just solidified it. I'm like, yeah, you can't trust everyone with everything, but that doesn't mean that you can't trust anyone with everything. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how
I
about
completely agree
taking
with
over
that.
Tommy's job? How about you, Serena?
Yes, I completely agree with what Fumi said. You know, it was upbringing as well as experiences that has solidified that for sure.
Yeah. Becca?
Me. I think I mentioned this a lot, even in the last one, I mentioned this a lot, but I just don't have time to be misunderstood. So I don't like, I've had many times where I've opened up and they've completely misunderstood and then spread that misinterpretation. I'm just like, what was the point? Or I've opened up and they just tell other people. I'm like, what was the point? So I think it's just past outcomes. But I think the weirdest one was when I opened up and they apologized and I forgave it and I was completely fine, but they could never get over what they did to me and they drifted away. Yeah. That's interesting. So I think it's not even about burdening them. I just don't understand how so many different negative outcomes can come out of it. So I'm like, oh, what's the point? But like Fumi said, it's not that you can't trust anyone. So yeah, it still happens.
I kind of agree with you guys because it takes a while, again, building up the trust. But I feel like sometimes I worry people will judge me. I guess it connects with the whole misunderstanding thing. But, if I say this, they'll think, I'm damaged or broken or I'm no good or whatever it is, which makes me just pile it. My family, my sister likes to say, I pile it under a carpet till I trip over, and then I'm like, I say everything. But yeah, I think it comes down to past experiences. Unfortunately.
Yeah. I also don't like people feeling sorry for me. That's a big thing, I think. I'm not like the sort of person who wants to be seen like a superhero or like somebody who's like, they're just really, really strong. I think my family knows I'm not the most emotionally strong person. If I'm completely honest, I'm not. But saying that, I don't like people feeling sorry for me. I'm just like, okay, if I've gone over the like situation, then you should as well. Hence why I wouldn't probably tell everyone everything, just because I feel like telling people everything makes people feel sorry for you. And then certain subjects they don't want to talk about, but I'm like, I'm over it, so we can talk about it. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, that completely makes I agree with that. I hate being vulnerable and I hate the feeling of worthlessness, like feeling vulnerable and and opening up to an individual. It's just not me. I just don't like it. So I think that's one thing that has caused me not really to be able to open up to people. And Fumi said earlier, upbringing as well has a big role in this. very big role. The environment in which you've grown up in, whether it was an open environment or not.
Even like, so funny, but I did like something for my mom. And instead of saying thank you in either English or Portuguese, she sent it to me in Lingala. And that's the moment that I realized it's a family thing. We really just can't be emotional like that. And then I got somebody to translate it, and I was like, why couldn't you just tell me thank you in Portuguese or something? And she said, no. It's a whole lot better in a different language when you don't understand, but I've expressed it to you, but you don't know what I've said. So I think it does have a lot to do with upbringing. Like if you're just brought up, you know, your parents feel gratitude, but they're not very expressive about it, or they're just not very expressive with you. You can't possibly, well, okay, obviously you can, but it'll be a whole lot harder to be expressive with other people.
Lingala?
Yeah, this lady.
Do they even speak Lingala in Angola?
Yeah, North Angolans. Well, I won't call myself, I don't know how to speak Lingala, but yeah.
Well, fair enough. So now the reverse of the question I just asked, what factors have... One second, let me make sure I say what I want to say correctly. What factors have... So first of all, can you now open up? And what factors have now led to that? If that makes sense.
It's a tricky question.
Me personally, I just think it's growing up, maturing, and just having more trust in people, and in particular your friends, that they are willing, that they are how do I say this? You trust them with your issues and burdens, knowing that you can trust them with it. Yeah, I'll leave that at that before I say something I'm not meant to say.
I second that, to be honest. I don't know whether I do it intentionally, but you know, you kind of go in with the small stuff, and when that kind of builds the trust, and you know they've not gone and spread that or judged you for it or whatever, you can then go on and talk about the bigger things. And I guess that's how you build friendships too, isn't it? It kind of brings you closer. So I think now I'm more comfortable opening up because I have my person, but you know, that might not be the same vibe for everyone, but I don't think I can still open up to everybody.
Yeah.
I like to be the class clown so that no one knows I'm a huge...
That is me. That is me to the T. Like, I even said this, I think I said it even to Serena today. I was I said it yesterday actually. I am such a jokey person. Like, I actually crack bands on the TL. I crack bands with my friends all the time. But low-key, I'm like, these bands that I'm cracking, they're signs, guys. They're signs. Like, it's so bad. I would like I'm really the type of person, I'm like, ha, 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 ha. It's so funny. Like, you know, today somebody hurt my feelings, but like, that's so funny. That's hilarious. And then my friends, like sisters would be like, oh my gosh, that's so funny. And I'll be like, yeah, but it hurt my feelings. This is really sad. Like, literally, like that's literally how I am. Or like, there's two sides. There's either that I would do that, and that's like me trying to get over it. Or there's one thing that I do a lot, and I realize I do it a lot, and it's really weird. It's only like recently I checked, and I was like, wow, if I have a problem, I want to listen to people have their problems. So that's really strange, but let me like explain myself in a sense. I feel like the best therapy in a sense for me is listening to people with their situations and helping them get over it, because from them getting over it, I learned to get over my problems. So I don't necessarily tell people my problems, but I listen to theirs. I do that like a lot. Like I think like there's one thing I saw recently. I was going through like my Instagram DMs, and I did it so many times. Like, I will pop up to random people that I will see on like the timeline I'll see on Instagram who let's say they're doing something a bit suspicious, or I'm like, oh, this person looks a bit upset. And I'm like, girl or boy, like, are you okay? Like, Is everything good? And we would just carry on conversation. And I'm telling you, I won't know this person. Like, I will not know this person at all. And we would just talk about their problems. And from me talking about their problems, it solves mine. I don't know how to explain it, but that's really what I do all the time now.
It's a biblical thing, isn't it? You know, you help others and you feel better about
yourself.
Yeah, what's going on with your life, isn't it?
And that actually connects back to feeling more comfortable opening up to the person, because if they open up to you, you're like, oh, they trust me. So
maybe that could be it. That could be it.
That's very true.
Not gonna lie, could you repeat the question, because I've lost track of it now.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I'm like,
I'm like, what was the question again?
She was scrolling through her Instagram when you were talking, Tommy.
Not paying attention. So basically, can you now open up, and what factors have led to you guys opening up?
So going back to what you said earlier, you said about the trust. So with me, it's with Fumi. I've known Fumi for a very long time. So now I'll open up to her about everything. But because I don't like being a burden to people, like with her, I'll be like, oh my days, I'm so sorry. I'll be like, oh, I'm really sorry. And she'll all the time, like she's even, I'm like, oh, I'm really sorry, but this. And she'll be like, no, like, it's okay. Like, she'll reassure me, and then everything will just come out.
And now you guys know that the reason I'm reassuring and everything is because she helps me to solve my problems. So it's like it just works. It works. Yeah, it works well.
Two-way street.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
But what about you guys?
Oh, Becca hasn't really said much.
I think she forgot the question again. You know, repeat it for us.
No, wait. I got it. It's can you now open up, and what factors have led to it?
Yes.
I think it's just the same as people have said. Like, if somebody opens up to you, then you're like, okay, maybe I can talk to them about what I'm feeling. Yeah.
To answer the question for Becca, she has not opened up, guys.
Honestly, that's not what I said.
I'm like, to read between the lines, I'm like, she has not.
No,
English language is caring.
No, I have spoken about my feelings before, so. Yeah.
It's a
I think we all have levels, don't we? We'd agree.
Exactly.
We all have levels.
Yeah.
Fully open to some people, kind of open, or like completely shut. Like, we all have levels with different people, don't we?
Yeah.
That's what
it's another thing. Like, I've gotten into the habit of, if there's small things, I kind of just say it immediately. So there's not much to open up about. But if something big has happened, I try to think, okay, maybe it's not as big as it is, which is horrendous, because then when I realize how big it is, it's terrible. But do you know what I mean? And that leads to me not opening up still.
Yeah.
So, but I do, when it gets like really big, I think it comes out.
You should just come to me. You should just tell me your problems.
Help me.
Help you. That's what we should do. Like, I go to everyone.
Help you.
Honestly.
We will help you with your problems, and it will help all.
Honestly. I'm a good listener, so I know the difference between venting, which is a start.
That's good. I think another factor that I think that's helped is venting to people that you'll know will understand the problem. Because it's all good and well venting to someone, but you don't want to be venting to someone who you think may not understand what you're going through, whether it's because it's a different culture, different gender, different upbringing. So I think that's also helped, venting to people you know that, yeah, you understand this from where I'm coming from as well.
And I think
touche.
I think even like with me as well, if I'm speaking to people, like especially with venting, the reason why a lot of times I will speak to my sister is because I'm a very, very, very much person, and like this literally happens throughout my whole life, but I like people to give me stuff straight. I like people to spit stuff out. I don't like people being like, oh, if I've hurt your feelings, tell me, and let's fix the problem. I don't like somebody being like, oh, yeah, it's cool, but I can tell, like, I'm a very, very, I don't know what the word is, I'm a very, very empathetic person, in the sense that if there's like some kind of atmosphere in the room, pick up quick. That won't cause me to feel some kind of way. So I'm very much like, give it to me straight. So if I'm, for example, my sisters, or I'm venting to somebody, I want them to be a type person that would give it to me straight. Was I at fault in this situation? And if I know I'm speaking to somebody who is a very, very kind person and doesn't necessarily want to hurt my feelings, I won't, like, a lot of times I won't go to that person, because I want people to give it to me straight. Was I at fault? Is there something I could do better? Can I change my approach? I really, really enjoy that. And I feel like with my sisters, because they know how I am and they know that I'm not going to go and sit and cry about it, I want them to give it to me straight.
I agree with that. Snap, 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 snap.
Poetry clicks. So yeah, I think that's a nice note to end the episode on. Before we wrap up, we'll move on to Tommy's selections.